Hey there, my name is Jabin Shah, and this is the video for Milestone 1, that is Configuration Management and Build for CSC519. Now I'll just walk you through our team. We are 4 people, and here are our unit TIDs, and now I'll just talk about the milestone. In this milestone, we have demonstrated the build automation and configuration management using Ansible. So we have provisioned a configuration server which runs Ansible and a Jenkins server on the remote virtual machine instances. We do this via Baker. Then we have configured Jenkins server automatically using Ansible. We also use jenkins-job-builder and Ansible to automatically set up build jobs for 2 applications, checkbox.io and iTrust. And we also use Ansible to install and configure the dependencies for these 2 applications. Then we use a combination of Mocha and PM2 to create test scripts that will allow us to start and stop the checkbox.io service on the Jenkins server. And finally, we create a GitHub trigger to build when a push is made to the checkbox.io and iTrust repositories on the Jenkins server. So before we go ahead, I want to make sure that you have these 2 prerequisites fulfilled. That is, you will need VirtualBox. The recommendation version is 5.12.2 and Baker install. You can click on these 2 links to go to their respective websites to install them. Now, as far as the setup instructions go, we would be first cloning this repository. So let's go ahead and do that. Now just go to the CSC519 project directory like I just did and run sh.server.sh. So what this would do is it would start 2 VM instances that would be running Ansible and Jenkins respectively, and let's just do that now. Okay, so the script has completed its execution. And what it did is it started 2 instances, one for the Ansible server and the other for the web server. And it also generated an SSH key for us. So now if we go to Jenkins server, we have 2 keys available for us to use. One would be the private key and the other would be the public key. So now that we've completed the setup of the VM instances, now I would like to just drag your attention to 2 more scripts. One would be the sh stop server.sh. This would stop the running VMs, and also sh destroy server.sh, and this would destroy the servers. And you would want to do that once you are completed with the project or running this project. Now we have already copied the public and the private key in the respective servers. We would like to proceed with the further steps. In this project, we have used the following ports for different services. Checkbox.io would be running on the default port. iTrust runs on 8080 and Jenkins runs on 9999. Inside the Ansible server folder, we have the following directory structure with the inventory file, the respective roles that would complete the tasks that they are assigned, and a site.yaml file that would be running these roles. We will now run the site.yaml file with the inventory to install these dependencies and run the build for checkbox.io and iTrust. The build jobs will only be initiated right now for demo purposes after we have started a push to their respective services. However, if you go to site.yaml file and comment out this line, it would run the build right away. Now I will run the Ansible playbook to run the site.yaml file with the inventory file. So what we are currently doing is we are installing and configuring Jenkins, followed by installing the modules that would be required or needed for the building of the checkbox and iTrust. We are then installing Nginx, Node, and MongoDB, which are dependencies for checkbox. We are then installing jenkins-job-builder, which would be used to build jobs for checkbox and iTrust on Jenkins. Then we are installing MySQL and Maven, which are dependencies for iTrust for a database and building iTrust. We are also installing a headless Chrome, which is needed as a dependency for iTrust again. And finally, we are downloading repositories for checkbox and iTrust onto the Jenkins server. And finally, we are copying the post receive hooks from the Ansible server to the Jenkins server. It is designed in such a way that on a push to the respective repositories, that is checkbox and iTrust, it would trigger the respective build jobs to be executed on Jenkins. Now the running of the playbook is completed, and two things would be set up right now. One would be the checkbox, and the other would be Jenkins, and we can go there. So port 9999 is for Jenkins, and as you can see, there are two jobs configured by jenkins-job-builder on Jenkins checkbox and iTrust. They're not yet running because we commented out the build role in the site.yaml file. For demo purposes, this would be triggered after a push has been made to the respective repositories. And now we can go to the port 80 of the same website to have a look at the checkbox.io interface. This currently is not usable because the service is not yet enabled. It would be available after we've started the service. Now let's go to the Jenkins server so that we can make a push to their respective repositories that are local bare repositories so that we can trigger the build for their respective jobs. Now we would simulate a push to the local repository. As you can see, a push has been triggered for Jenkins, and if we go to the Jenkins dashboard and have a look, the last success build was 13 seconds ago, and if we have a look at the build itself, so now if we have a look at the console output, um, the the tests are being passed, and if we go to the website, it is currently loaded. That would mean that the server is currently running. And after 30 seconds, it will turn off the server. And if we reload the page again, this service should not be available for us to see. As you can see, the server.js file has now stopped and the tests are failing. Now, if we go to the IP address again and reload, the page should not be available, meaning that the service has indeed been shut down. So that was what was accomplished by the build job of checkbox.io. Now what we would do is we would trigger the same for iTrust, and we would do the same thing, that is simulate a push to the repository. As you can see, a build has been triggered for iTrust on Jenkins, and we can have a look at it right now. As you can see, there are no build failures, and all the tests are being passed. And with the power vested in me via video editing, a 11 minutes and 19-second job is converted to a 10-second build for you guys. So that's about it for this milestone, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.